In the words of the little kid from The Incredibles, that was totally wicked! Hey everyone, welcome back to another Skeleton Crew-tastic episode of Empire Radio. I'm Jeremiah.
I'm Drew.
And we are back with Skeleton Crew Season 1, Episode 8, the finale, The Real Good Guys.
Or I should have done this one side.
That's the one that goes on forever until you turn it off.
For like a week.
But yes, we're finally here at the finale. But we have some rumor. I don't know if it's rumors or if it's really confirmed, but supposedly there is the replacement actor for Ray Stevenson from the Ahsoka series, Baylan Skull. Rory McCann, I think his name is. And he's guy who's probably most famous from Game of Thrones. I've never seen Game of Thrones, so I have no idea if he's that great, but he does not look like Ray Stevenson at all.
Not even close.
So, now obviously...
His accent's similar, though, I think.
Well, an accent is an accent. You can make it whatever you want. But, like... I don't know.
Everyone had their picks.
A lot of people were saying they were, excited for this guy. So, he's probably super good.
I think he's good.
But he just doesn't look like him. Now, I understand hair and makeup team can definitely work wonders, but...
It's just CGI him.
No, that'd be terrible. That would make it more expensive than the Acolyte series. So that's cool. We'll see how that goes. I think they're supposed to be filming this summer, so... That's exciting for that. There's also been a rumor that they're working on 2 animated series right now. But, one's probably just a Tales series, so that's expected. But we're also expecting, a big series.
A big show.
So those are just the rumors going around, but we'll get all that confirmed in a few months at Star Wars Celebration Japan. Sure. So we'll get all that news officially, hopefully then.
Yep. And I'm trying to think. Well, should we dive in or should we talk about how potentially there was not a season 2 to this show due to the ratings?
Then we're not going to talk about it. That's not a thing. That's just all these rating things. I think are all made up anyway, and it's just kind of like.
Yeah, I was just like I saw a bunch of videos and people were saying like that. This has lower ratings than the Acolyte did.
I don't think that's true. Also, even if it is true, the reason the Acolyte would be higher is because people hated it so much that everyone wanted to see how bad it was.
Well, and people did stop watching that, but then it's kind of I saw it similar to Solo, where the viewership of people didn't want to go see Solo because of the impact that Last Jedi had. And it's probably similar to that, which is why you don't want to watch this because the Acolyte.
It's way too early to talk about ratings for a show. I don't know how people just make up these stats. They go to some random website. Oh, this is accurate information. I'm like, how did it?
Yeah.
I think it's a bunch of nonsense. I think the show will get renewed for a second season. So
I hope so. I think it has the people that are watching it love it.
Right.
It's just getting people to watch it.
Yep. So get your family to watch it. And speaking of that, we have a couple comments from last week's episode on Spotify. So comment section is always open on Spotify. So go leave us your comments on every episode. Ty the Guy says, finally decided to man up and say something, seeing I've been hiding in the shadows like Palpatine since your breakdown of the Andor trailers. I finally convinced my family to watch a Star Wars show with me, and we've been loving Skeleton Crew. I was wondering if you've seen the Onyx Cinder Lego set and wanted to know your thoughts on it. I personally think it's a little shorter than it appears in the show, but I'll probably pick it up anyway since the show was so great. Love your episodes. Have you seen the toy set, Lego
I
set?
think I have.
But
Granted.
it's cool that Ty, the guy, got his family to watch the show. So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
if you're watching the show and your family doesn't really like, this is a great show. You don't need to know anything about Star Wars. And like,
You
if you've
literally
never
don't
watched Star
need
Wars and you watch
no.
it, you might not even know it's Star Wars. Like, you just don't. It's such a good show. So get people hooked on this show if your
If you want
family
a
isn't
family fun, relaxing kid movie to watch with your
relaxing. People
well,
like
I mean,
it's like older kids, not like I don't know,
not Miles'
whatever,
age.
not Miles' age. But also last comment is from Caden. What do you think about the episode titles being quotes from the episodes? I personally like it and prefer to no episode titles at all. I like it. It's a lot of fun. Kind of like you're excited to like see like when is this line gonna pop up in the show.
Yeah, I think it's sweet.
But what series was it that had no titles? It was this
Well,
part 1, part 2. Was that Kenobi?
no, it wasn't that or the Acolyte.
Well, some of them they don't have the title like that first night on screen,
Well,
but
the
then the next day they're.
Mandalorian doesn't. It's always chapters, and then like the next day they'll put the title in there. But
But the
then
title is in the episode right at the beginning, after the opening scene, every
mm,
time.
maybe it
So
was Kenobi, but I thought the Acolyte didn't have titles.
I can't
I
remember.
thought it was like part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4.
Maybe. I like it. Just look at my book right here. I have all my
Yeah,
notes from
come
all my
on.
episodes. Let's see. Ewoks 5. Well, they had titles because it was like Lost Found, Revenge, Justice. They all end up having titles, but I can't remember if it was like on
Must
the
have been
screen or
come up.
not.
Yeah, I don't.
But we like the titles being quotes from the episode. I think that's fun.
And like because they're quotes, they're not too spoilery. Like it doesn't really matter.
Right. And I forget halfway, like
Well,
right when I'm watching anyway. So it's like, oh wait, there's a line. I remember that, like I wasn't like.
and I also don't even read titles. Like I
Yep,
didn't
because
know until you sent it over.
you're a schmuck. Like.
Yeah, that's how that is. Sure.
Yep.
We'll go with that.
But that's kind of all the news and all the extra stuff before the episode. So we'll jump into overall thoughts of the finale of this episode. Is it my turn?
Nope.
Your turn? Go ahead,
My
Drew.
turn. I liked it. It was fun. I enjoyed the episode. Everything happened the way we kind of thought it was going to happen, in the sense of like Jeremiah called it. Like we're gonna see that turret on top of the school. Like we knew that was gonna happen. Yeah, there wasn't like any major surprising except for they were literally were being ran by robots. That was an interesting twist.
It's just what the world's gonna look like in a few years when AI takes over.
Honestly, that's literally what it's gonna be anyway. Yeah, it's kind of scary to think about, but yeah, so like it was kind of cool. Like that was like the big surprise for me in this episode. But like besides that, like I thought he was gonna have a redemption arc somehow, and he definitely did not at all, which I liked. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I enjoyed it. I thought it wrapped really well. I don't know how. Like they don't need to do a season 2. Like,
Well, they kind of do now because Jod's alive. Like,
well, sure, but like
he's free to. I feel like he's just gonna escape from the tower, and they didn't capture him.
I don't think they cared to capture him either.
Well, they're gonna. What do you mean? They came to get rid of pirates. Like, he's a pirate. Like, that's the whole reason they came.
Yeah. Well, I think there's still a little hope for him somehow for me. I don't know why. I think it's because like his story is so heartbreaking, and like when we heard his story, like he's just like a broken human
Oh, you
completely.
didn't realize that the first time.
Oh, okay, I did, but like, but when you find out that he was like becoming a Jedi, and then his master literally died because of Order 66, but like it wasn't she was that his master was like already in hiding because of Order 66. So I don't think he's as old as his actual acting is potentially. Maybe I
Right.
don't know, but so that whole concept. Well, I think that kind of like made him less. And then at the end, even like the kids were still like not mad at him somehow. Like they had so much grace towards him.
Wim was. We'll talk about how he yells from the thing, from
It's the
the
first episode
elevator.
that I liked Wim. By the way, the first episode where I'm like, okay, I like this kid. The dad was still kind of annoyed, but then like towards the end, I really liked when he was like on the speeder and like having fun with his kids and stuff, like it trusting them. I thought that was really cool, and like I really liked that like these. I liked how it ended because these kids band together in this sense where like you know what, our parents are weak, like they have no idea what they're doing. We are more like capable of fixing this problem than like our adults are. So let's just do it. And I really like that they trust themselves and they're willing to put themselves through this to save their own planet and save their family. I thought it was really cool how like they made that happen. So I really liked this episode. I thought it was fun. It was good.
Would you say it's
Like
the best episode of the season?
sure. I don't know. They're
Sure.
kind of like for me, they're all like together, and besides that one that thought was boring, like they're all really good together, and they're kind of all equal to me. Like I don't know. I think this episode would have been amazing if we would have got some random character that was flying the X-wing. That would have been cool.
I thought that was kind of weird that they didn't
Like we didn't get
show
anyone
us.
that we knew.
Well, it's
That
like
was kind
I
of
was thinking Zeb
Zeb.
was going to be
Yeah,
one of
if
them
we would have got Zeb, that this episode would have blew out of the
he's
water.
in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. They already have his character model made. Like they could have just threw him in there for 5 seconds. Like it wouldn't have cost him
And it
anything.
would have been in the cockpit, so it's not like we would have saw his whole body anyways.
Right. Like they
So
had to
like,
pay an actor to like sit in a cockpit for like a few seconds that we saw when they could have just copy pasted into
yeah.
the file, the
So like,
project file.
I think that's what kind of like didn't blow me out of the water essentially when it came to like this show didn't have any cameos, which is fine. It's totally cool. Like it's separate, you know. Like
Well, the ship at the end was kind of like a cameo. It wasn't necessarily Leia's ship, but
it felt like I was like, are we gonna see like
I thought we were
Olea
gonna
in there or
get. I thought we were
something?
gonna see it land, and C-3PO was
Walk
walked
out.
off. And, Hi, I'm a representative of Senator Leia
Just
Organa.
dude, that would have been dope. Like something like that would have like changed my feel and connected it all. But I think what kind of is also a little bothersome to me about the whole show is at the end of the day, we still don't know when this took place, and it's kind of frustrating.
I don't know. They say season one of Mando is kind of like the same date, but I just wish there was a better
Which
connection between like where how Vane, because like if Vane is captured,
or
like by the
killed because
or killed, like then this would be after episode season 3 of Mando.
mm-hmm.
Because we were kind of expecting maybe he escapes this group again and then goes and joins Gorian Shard's thing.
But we don't see him leave.
Right. So, but
If anything,
like,
we see the one of the ships that he could have potentially been in blow up. So like we don't know.
it seems like he didn't escape and went and just joined another pirate faction. So I want to say it's kind of after season 3 of Mandalorian, but
But doesn't matter. Like, does it tie in besides that one character? It doesn't really
well, it
tie
doesn't.
in.
But I'm just saying that's probably when it was.
Yeah. I think, like I said, like that's the only thing that kind of bothers me is like this is supposed to be in the Mandalorian timeline, but it's like, sure, but we just have one character that we still don't know the answer to. So like, it doesn't really feel like it feels like it is kind of because of that one character is in there, but like it doesn't really tie much to it. And I think having certain characters in those X-Wings would have tied it better. Like, even, like, if it was just Commander Wolf, like, if it was Dave Filoni in there. Like, anything to, like, get it to feel more of that timeline would have helped. So, but besides that, like, it's a really good show. And, like, to your point earlier, like, you can literally be like, hey, let's watch this fun Goonies spin-off of Star Wars to people, and they'll watch it, and they don't need anything.
Right.
So that's the nice thing about it. The galaxy is huge, yes, chat, but Star Wars isn't. Like, yeah, the galaxy is huge, but we always see people. Like, that's how they create stories.
I think a lot of people hate seeing the same people over and over again, so they want to like get away from that.
And I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm fine with the way it was, but my thing was like, I need to know what's the timeline so that I can, like, people are gonna be like, when was this?
Just
During the
say it's during the
Mandalorian timeline.
Mandoverse. Just say that.
But, like, when? I have no idea.
It doesn't. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter because it
No.
doesn't affect anything. So,
But it could, though. That's the thing, is now that this planet is open and they're like, the New Republic's there, they're gonna take all that funds and, like, I don't know. It could have added more. It also, like, if they would take all those funds, you would think they wouldn't have issues with the, I don't know. You think the New Republic would have been stronger if they had all that money.
I don't know.
But
I don't
maybe
know.
they just leave them alone.
I think they're just gonna leave the money there because it's technically not their currency anymore. Like they have the new credits for the New Republic, so I doubt that they're using the same money because like they don't.
No, they're
doing their
not.
own
But
thing.
I feel like it's more valuable because it's so old.
I don't know. Is it really so old when they're just making it now?
That's a good point.
They're
When they were saying that, I'm like, could anyone just start making this currency? Or is it because of where it's made and, like, the resources on the planet, that certain gold or whatever it is? Like,
well, anyone could just melt down gold and make things, but it's not technically real if it's not officially made by the government or whatever. I don't know.
oh, yeah, sure. I
It
don't
would
know.
be counterfeits, but I don't know if someone listening, if you make counterfeit money illegally, let us know.
Let us know how it works.
And we promise we
Send us
won't
those
turn
blanks.
you in.
Yeah, send us those blanks and let us know.
Any other thoughts, Drew?
No, that's it for me.
I really love this episode. Just like the kid from The Incredibles, it was totally wicked. I totally forgot about Kim. Like we said when that episode aired with her, like, oh, they're gonna call her some time later on this season, and I totally forgot about her. I don't even think we talked about her last week. I don't think. So like, I totally forgot about them. Like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Well, did you watch did you skip over, like, the recap?
No, I don't skip over recaps.
They showed her in the recap.
So that doesn't mean anything.
It means everything. It
It's
means
deceptive.
everything, bro.
But I thought this was a really good episode. I have mixed feelings about like Fern being separated from the group because it would have been cool to see all 4 kids working together. Like, you know, Wendell, Wim's dad, joined the crew, which I think it was fine. Like, I don't have anything. It was fun, but like, it would have been cool if it was just the kids working independently from the parents to save the day and doing it all on their own. Other than that, that was like it's the only little minor thing. But I thought it was just, you know, nonstop action. The pacing was great. Everything just fell into place, and I really liked learning that the Empire knew of this planet the whole time, but they didn't take the money. They didn't go in and like seize the day. Like that was kind of a weird thing. I like that we get some information about Jod, but like I want to know who the female Jedi was that trained him, like seemingly post Order 66.
Yeah, I think that would be a really cool story arc.
I just don't know
Who would? I mean,
who
it
would
could
have
have been
been.
anyone, though, right?
It's probably a new random character. It's probably no one we know, but
Yeah.
like it'll be interesting to go back to the Kenobi show and look at that Inquisitorious like trophy room and see if there's any female Jedi in there.
Yeah.
Because it says that he saw her get hunted down. The first time I watched it, I thought it was implying that he turned her in. But when I rewatched it,
Oh no,
no,
yeah,
it
yeah.
wasn't that. She was just hunted down. So like he saw her
He literally
die,
saw her die, and it was probably either, but I would assume by the Inquisitorius killed,
or just
or Vader, or
troopers that were sent in.
troopers.
So it would be cool just to get like a flashback in that moment.
I mean, if there's a season 2, we might get more of that.
I don't think if we get a season 2, I don't think we're gonna get a more backstory because it's kind of they're not gonna devote time to something that doesn't actually knowing that identity doesn't matter to the story. So like just knowing that he was trained for like a summer, he went to camp for a summer and learned how to use the Force a little bit. Like that's basically all we needed to know.
Yeah, that I think that was like probably the biggest twist of this
That we got
episode is that
confirmation.
we actually know that he is Force sensitive. Like we were like, oh, he is, and then we're like, no, he's not. He's doing tricks because the kids don't believe it. Like, I think they did that pretty cool because the whole time we're like, no, he's not Force sensitive, or maybe he is. Maybe it's his gloves; they're magnetized, and but then once as soon as he force pushed the dad, I was like, oh no,
It was the metal buttons on his shirt. And then
yeah.
he pushed the buttons back, and that's what made it.
Yeah, I don't. When I saw that, I was like, "Oh, this guy's actually legit. This is not good. We're screwed." All right, let's see what happens. So, and I thought it was really cool how like he was gonna blow up the border. The mom said no because she's like, then our whole planet's gonna be lost, and we're not gonna be like what we are before. And they want to give it up. And so I thought that was really cool that they like built it so that the mom actually had to be the one to actually end up doing it and changing the course of the entire planet. And
Right.
over a weekend of these kids leaving changed their entire planet. Like when you really think about it, it's like a weekend, 2-day trip ruined the entire planet, changes the course of all these people's lives forever. It could be bad or it could be good. Like I can imagine like half these people like they saved the planet, right? But those old people that love cutting their grass every day, they're gonna be really upset with these kids. And like season 2, they might be like outcast essentially because they changed everything, and not everyone is gonna be happy that the whole planet and their whole lifestyle is different and changing. So I don't know. It's interesting.
But yeah, I'm also disappointed that Neil's dad wasn't anything. He was just there carrying the babies. Like
Oh,
I thought we were
like
gonna
I
get
told you, bro.
more
Like I
information about him. I thought he was gonna like come in and do something crazy. Like I don't know,
gonna
but
become an elephant and Hulk everything.
yeah, do a stampede, get a bunch of other elephants
I
and do a
told you, bro.
stampede.
That boy he's just a stay home dad. That was when the mom was doing stuff, he was staying at home. And at the end of the day, he was just carrying the kids in handcuffs, essentially. Like he had literally had nothing. So
But yeah, so this episode there's so like my notes I usually fit on this one page, but this was like a page and a half because there's so many. Everything was a very very fast paced episode, so it's hard to like
it was a finale episode.
write everything down. So, but might as well just jump in, scene by scene. So it starts off with the sound of the lightsaber turning on, but then it's on a black screen for a few seconds, and then it goes back to where we left off, from last episode, and Jod just introduces himself and says that he is at their service, blah blah blah, and then the parents are like, "Well, are the kids in trouble?" "Oh, they're in a lot of trouble. Your security and secrecy of this planet is of highest priority." And Fern's mom says, "Well, I take full responsibility," but like they just kind of left it at that, like, "Okay, I'm going to have you punished," or anything like that. But he tries to be like this authoritarian guy from the Republic, like, all you guys are going to be supervised now by the droids. Like, they're going to report back everything you say. Like, I'm keeping a watch on you guys, blah, 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 because the kids are troublesome. He's like, especially Wim. And then Fern's like, yep, we were troublesome. Like, just kind of going along with it. And then he's like, all right, go back to your homes, and you'll be watched there. But then he's like, but what about Fern? I want Fern to come with me and learn some things about responsibility and duty and what it means to be a good leader. Because he saw her as the leader of the group and knew that like the other three wouldn't be able to function without her, type of thing. I think was his perspective. And Fern's mom was like, well, I'll come with to you to meet the supervisor. And Jod's like, I'll make sure I'll take care of both of you. I was like, this is like, what is going on? Like, this is a weird thing. But they separate. So Jod and Fern and her mother go off to talk to the supervisor, and then the kids and the other families, they go home. And so then it jumps to Wim's house, and it's just like a scene of like their version of a microwave oven, toaster oven thing, where it's just like a TV dinner underneath like a domed heating thing. It's just kind of like boiling or whatever. And then Window's like, isn't it great to have a home cooked meal? That was not a home cooked meal, sir. Like, that's just a TV dinner in a space microwave. But yeah, you could tell Wims, he's all sad, blah blah blah. But then they're just talking back and forth, and the droid is there watching, looking back and forth at each other as they're talking, and Wim can't say anything because being watched, and he almost slips up and says that Jod is not a Jedi, but he caught himself, and then he tried to like be all cryptic, and the dad's like, well, you still gotta take assessment. Like, dad's already moved on, and Wim does his best to like do like a secret conversation out loud about not everyone is who they say they are, and the dad just doesn't get the hint. Like, because he's been so far removed from he's been on his planet his whole life, never had to like think of anyone as deceptive or a liar or a threat to his life. So he didn't get Wim's hint. So that kind of sucked, but it's expected. And then it goes to Jod and the girls going up the tower elevator to meet the supervisor. And it's all dark. Nothing going on. No one up there. Everything's dusty. Nothing's been used in decades or centuries, it seems like. And, the mom is like, oh, I'm so excited to finally meet the supervisor. What an honor. And they walk in. Hello, is anyone there? Hello. And then the center giant council turns with a red light. Hey, guys, I'm supervisor. Like, that's the supervisor.
And the giant circle robot.
And the mom wasn't surprised. Like, she knew the whole time it was a droid.
She's definitely met the droid.
No, she said this is the first time meeting. But she already knew.
Oh, I thought she was saying that she was impressed that because her kid was meeting him before she graduated. That's a high honor.
Oh, I think she was implied that for herself to meet that like
Oh
no
no!
one on the planet has ever met. It seems like she was
See, it
saying.
made me think that because she's so high up that she already has met the supervisor. That it made me think that the way she said that to her was like people have met him, but like not. I don't know. I interpret it as she's met him before because she wasn't surprised that it was Dusty in there and stuff like that.
Well, I think it was just maybe the like when you graduate, you get more information, kind of like we learned last week.
Yeah, maybe.
I think I think all the parents know that the supervisor is just a droid AI
Yeah.
thing. Um, but I don't know. I'll have to go back and look specifically what she said. But um,
Or you guys can make a poll. We'll make a poll and see if you guys interpret it that way or the other way.
maybe we'll see.
I mean, I don't think it really matters a whole lot
Um,
much.
and well, I guess they kind of inserted this as they were going up the tower. It goes to Wim on the radio, trying to talk to Neil. Neil's like, "Oh, the droids are watching. I can't talk." And then the droid comes into Wim's bedroom. Who are you talking to? And Wim just grabs his toy. Hey, rah, 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 rah. He's like, "We gotta go rescue Princess Fern." Like, why would you say rescue Princess Fern? Like, whatever. But I guess it works. The droid's that stupid. Those droids are no supervisor. Am I right?
Yeah.
um, but yes, we learned that the supervisor is a droid, and Jad introduces himself. Hey, I'm an emissary Jedi from the Republic. Blah blah blah, and I just need my ship that's outside the barrier to land. Like, can you grant it access? Type of thing. And he's like, well, I can, but I need you to clear up one little small detail that I'm kind of confused about. And he's like, well, the last communication that we got from the Republic was that all Jedi are traitors. So he's like, either you're not an emissary or you're not a Jedi. Which one are you? Like, that's kind of cool that the AI guy, the supervisor, figured that out. Um, and Jod pauses for a second, and then that's when Fern says, "He's a pirate. He's here to take all the money." And then the supervisor's like, "That is what I suspected." Like, he knew the whole time. He just needed one little information to confirm, and so he commands all the droids who are holding these like crazy rifle guns that look like something out of Tron or something. I don't know, and they start attacking, and Jab whips out his lightsaber, and he's actually blocking the stun shots, which is pretty cool. And but then what he does is he goes and just stabs the supervisor in his eye, which is I think it's crazy that that's enough just to like shut down the whole entire system. It's all right in the eyeball is where the core of the I don't know. Seems like you should keep it in the middle, away from the outside dangers. But
Yeah,
I,
they've
I
just
don't know.
never been threatened before, so it was pretty easy to figure out how to do it.
Yep.
I don't
So
know if he knew it was going to shut down everything.
Uh, probably not everything, but enough to kill the
Kill the
supervisor.
supervisor, and then you can take over.
But they should have learned a thing from episode one. Like, you don't have all the droids and everything controlled by one control ship. Like, that's what they after that they changed it so all the droids were working independently. So they missed on that message from the Republic that they should have got. I wonder if they
Yep.
had like any. Because if it was the Empire was the only one that called them, like they probably never even knew about the Clone Wars or anything like that. Like, so,
Yeah, no, they definitely did not. They just knew that the Jedi are not bad people, not good people.
yep. And so the droids, they all turn off, and then all the power in the whole city goes off. And so, um, he then says, he's looking at all the control panels and barrier override, and he clicks that button and something comes up and opens up and it's a lever, and it's enough that lever turns off the barrier, but it's not like an on off switch. It's a fail safe thing type of thing, where it just completely destroys the thing. So that kind of gives insight to those other planets that if all the other planets fell and are no longer behind a barrier, someone, pulled that lever on each planet. Like they were all fed up with.
Yeah.
It's probably like literally the first generation or two of people
They
that.
figured out they were being ran by a giant droid, and they're like, "Oh heck no!" And then they
Well, it's
figured
probably
out.
not that. It's just they're fed up with. They didn't like the situation. They didn't like being stuck on this planet because they knew about being off planet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming, and so that's probably what happened on that planet that we went to with this Hana and all them. Like someone just pulled the switch, and that's why all those barriers buoys were turned off. So it'd be cool to see all those stories. I don't know.
Yeah, it would. Well, we probably won't, but that would be sweet.
They should just make a book series,
Yeah,
an
we'll read it.
8 book series about each and every. Was it 8 or 9 planets? A 9-book series about
Mm-hmm.
all the individual planets, and like
I don't know about all that.
that'd be kind of
They
cool.
gotta
Like,
be cool stories.
but like, I wonder if all the planets were mints, or if it was just at Aten, and each planet had their own separate function, like what all the other planets did
Yeah, I don't know.
specifically.
I feel like they would have their own function. They're all just different. They provided different currency or like different
One's
things.
is like toilet
One-
paper or something like
one's like
that.
farming. The other one is like water, and I don't know.
But yeah, so he wants to turn it off, but Farah, Fern's mother, was like, "Well, no, that's gonna turn it off. Like, we need to stay hidden. Like, we can't ruin our way of life. Like, there's another way. Like, I know how to get your ship through without turning off the barriers." Basically, like, all right, cool. And so then it flashes to the flagship, and Jod radios in to Gunter. "Hey guys, I took over the planet. Come on in. The barriers. I got you free pass." And he's like, "Let the invasion begin." I'm like, oh dang, they're just gonna kill everybody. Oh, it's not good. So then it jumps to Wim's house, and it's like power turns off, and then he goes into the window and see all the individual houses power getting turned off, and he runs to his father, and the droids are dead. Blah blah blah. Like, John's not who he says he is. He's a pirate. Like, he's not trying to save us. He's trying to get us, which is kind of funny way of saying it. But and as he's yelling at his dad about this, the ship comes into the city, which was a cool coming in, see how big the ship is. Because like when a ship is in space, like you can't really tell. You just compare it to other ships that you are next to it, but seeing it like next to the ground, you see how giant and massive this ship was. And um, they arrive, and it flashes over to Neil, and he's taking a bath. Classic Neil taking a bath, and he looks up through the skylight thing, and he sees a ship. Gets a call from Wim. "This is not good. The pirates are here. Blah blah blah." And then it flashes to KB, like in her driveway, watching it. I don't know. There's just something about watching KB just stand there and think. Like, she doesn't say anything, but she's just standing there looking,
It was a
and
cool moment.
it just
It was
like
pretty
lingered,
sweet.
like her just standing there
Mm-hmm.
thinking. And I don't know. I just really like that, a person just randomly sitting there, because like so much is happening in that moment for her,
Yeah,
trying to
she's planning. She's
planning, thinking, like,
figuring it
and that
out.
moment she's like, "All right, we gotta call Kim," type of thing. But I don't know. I really appreciated that. And then the pirates start just shooting the city. They're shooting vehicles and buses and random stuff. I'm like, dang, dude, like, you could just pretend to be an emissary with the emissary and make things go more smoothly and stuff at first. But whatever, like, your pirates, they don't really think things through. So they just started blowing everything up, and
Which, like, honestly, like, did he really need to bring those other pirates in? He could have easily just loaded that ship up, which he did, and just like flew out of there and escaped and ran from those pirates. But he wanted control of all of
well, yeah,
them, I
but
think,
why would you just fill one ship's worth of credits? Like, that's he.
for himself. And
Well, yeah,
like,
but he doesn't want just a limited amount. He wants unlimited. He
yeah, it's
wants to
true.
rule the galaxy with all that money,
But if they would have
basically.
just went in and just like to your point, like just be emissaries and load their money up and leave, then they would have had all that money and been fine. But they had to start being pirates and kill people and blow up everything for no reason. And the pirates just never learn, man.
I want to know how many people died,
A lot,
civilians.
a
Like,
lot.
because, like, we saw one bus blown up and then, like, one other car. But then, like, they're just shooting stuff and blowing things up. Like,
Houses were blowing up. Even like the damage from when the Empire or like the New Republic destroyed their ship, it like went through like half their city.
it's like, I thought that was going to, like, fall into the woods and crash in the woods. But
Yeah.
nope.
Nope, it destroyed half their town. I was like,
So,
y'all didn't plan that out great. Like someone's
yep.
getting sued.
So, it goes to Wim and Wendell in their garage, and Wendell's trying to get his car to work again, and it's nothing's happening. And Wim is just, all right, no, you don't know what's going on. Like, we're the only ones that the kids are the only ones that know what's going on. Like, you got to follow us, trust us. Like, we gotta go rescue Fern. She's in danger. Blah blah blah. And then you hear Neil yell, "Wim!" And then it was so cool seeing Wim and KB like slam on the brakes and slide into the driveway. We got a plan. We gotta go. Let's go. Boom, boom, boom. Like, and then the plan is this: we gotta call Kim and have get the Onyx Cinder, fly up out of here, call Kim, get the X-wings to come down, and as we're doing that, like, you're gonna go get Fern and all that stuff. Like, they got the plan all ready to go, and I'm like, okay, cool. This is it. The kids, they got it all figured out. They're going. The dad doesn't believe anything, and so the kids. So then Wim jumps on his speeder bike. Oh, the speeder bike should work. And he runs, and they go off, and the dad runs out there to come back. And then that punk biker kid from the first episode, like, first episode. Okay, the show's gonna end with him, like, Fern's gonna race him at the end, the final thing. Kind of be a funny thing. Nope, he's just standing there watching, and the dad looks at him. So that dad beat up that kid and, like, stole his bike. Like, I don't know.
Well,
That's
and
kind of,
I like that part too because it brought you back to episode 1 where that kid was a bully and was like trying to race them, and so like it was like full circle, like, oh, that's, and then you saw him and you're like, oh heck yeah. But I thought he was gonna ride like in the little buggy next to him and make
that
that
would have been
kid
funny.
drive. But then all of a sudden you see the kid, so you're like, you have no idea what he did to that kid, but he definitely like pushed him off that thing. So I thought that was cool. It literally developed his character, so the dad's character, so fast in that moment. Like I really loved that part.
Yep. And so the speeder bikes go off, but then the little, like, I don't know, mini ships were released from the main ship, like, with little, like, raider ships or whatever. They're kind of like, were they the same ship as, like, on the from episode 6, like the sand barge scene, was like they had like the little, you know what I'm talking about, the little ships like Han was standing on. Was it the same exact ship? Maybe, like,
Maybe.
I don't know, but
I
the
don't know.
little, like, platform, there's a little platform raft type things. I don't know what you want to
Hmm.
call them, but they get dispersed throughout the whole city, and they're just shooting neighborhoods up, and this all right, gather up all the people. So they're like making all the people get out of their houses and follow them. And KB, she radios her parents, like, hey, just stay hidden, blah, blah, blah. Don't try and do anything. But, well, pirates just go directly into the house while they're watching and take them. So that happens. But then Vane, he is chasing the kids on the speeder bikes to the neighborhood, and they're shooting at him. And then KB is like, "We gotta get covered." So she turns, and everyone follows, and they're going, and they get to that ramp that we get from episode 1, and they all take the ramp, and they jump the ramp, and they go down, and they're speeding through the forest, and Neo was like, "Oh no, that giant ravine or cliff or whatever is coming up," and KB's all right, full throttle, kids, and they just go full power, and they all make the jump, and Wendell lands, and he's like, "Guys, did you see that? That was so much fun!" And Wim's like, "Dad, we gotta go. We don't got time to have fun right now."
I thought that was the best part of the whole episode. One of the best parts was like him realizing that his boring life, like he was able to go past that and like not be a robot essentially. And so when that happened, he was like, "Oh, I understand why you guys want to do what you guys are doing." Like the inner kid in him woken up. So that was a pretty cool moment.
Yep. And so they get through the woods, whatever, but then Vane is waiting for them on the edge of the woods. And so the kids, they go into the city, and they go by the school, and KB is like, "Follow me into the school." So they go through the school. I think Neil was the last one to enter in. Like, so the shot that was at the entrance of going in was close enough to Neil, and so they took out Neil, and he crashes and lands or whatever, and they all stop, and he's like, I'm okay. Just keep going." I was surprised at how quickly they were willing to leave Neil behind. I thought Wim was
Yeah,
gonna,
that I was like, are you really like just gonna leave this poor kid getting shot in this thing? But
cause like I'm
just so happened to be in the school. It was like perfect timing. So
see, cause like I know they're trying to like hoping that you forgot about the cannon on top of the school, but like
no one
did
did.
did did Wim and KB know that there was the gun on the
Well, when
cannon
he
on
said that you're gonna need like we're gonna need
cover?
cover, I think they just remembered.
But like I felt
They
like
all
the
saw
whole,
it.
but like the whole, but he only was at the cannon because he crashed. Like he was gonna keep following the kids to the tower.
True.
So
I don't
it's
know.
like,
It was just good timing, but also, yeah, you're right. Like they could have like made that scene. Like if he would have explained what he was gonna do, that he crashed. Now he's like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna go here.
or at
Then
least like for him, there could have been like a minute scene where he's in the school trying to hide, and
and then do
then
it.
he remembers in the moment. Oh wait,
Yeah.
and like that would have been, I think that would have been better, because then it would have felt more improvised rather than like kind of
Knowing.
planned, but not
Yeah.
planned. Like, so they could have done that a little bit better. But I thought it was funny how like, he tells them to go, like keep going, and then like he just like starts like rolling away, like he's being all like covert, like I don't know. It was kind of funny. He's like, all right, go, and then he just like leans back and then starts rolling away. I thought that was kind of funny.
He's definitely not as agile as he wants to be. That's for sure. Like when
Right.
he's running, he's like waddling slowly.
Yep. And so then it shows the kids and Wendell. They see the Onyx Cinder at the landing pad, and they all like go turn. They shoot into the back of the ship, and there's already filled with multiple pallets of the credits. And they get in there, and Wim and KB run to the cockpit, and Wendell is like, "You guys have a ship?" Like, "Yeah, Dad, isn't it cool?" And then like, "You know how to fly it?" Like, "Yeah," type of thing. And so KB turns everything on and tries to fly away. Oh, got the locking brackets on, and Wendell is like, well, it's all on the same power grid. Like, the only way the power grid can be turned back on is back in the tower. And Wim's like, Dad, can you do it? And he's like, I'm a level 7 systems coordinator. Of course I can get this done. He's like,
I thought that was hilarious. Like, he was like, this is where my skills finally work. Like, I'm doing something.
it was just funny. Like, it was just
Yeah.
whatever. So I wonder if it was level 7, like the highest. Is he like?
I don't think so. I don't think it's that high. I think that's what's cool about it, is that he's so proud of his level 7 status, but he's still not that high.
Yep. And so, so I'm trying to think. So it goes to the tower, and Fern and her mom are just kind of like sitting there, like not moving, not trying to do anything, blah blah blah. And the mom is freaking out about all this, and Fern is like, "Mom, get together." Like, yeah, I get it. There's tons of, like, we went out there in the galaxy, and there's a lot of terrible, bad people, but everywhere we went, there were good people. Like, all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. But Mom, you need to trust me that we can figure this out and get this done. And that's when Jod sees them talking and shoots by them and stop conspiring, stop planning, blah, blah, blah. You can't do anything. And oh, actually, sorry, I missed a spot. She's like, all right, Fern was like, this is our plan. See that droid over there? We're just going to grab the blaster in his hand and we can stun Jod. And that's when Jod shoots at him and stop conspiring. He gets on the PA system, like we heard from last episode when the supervisor talked to the city, and he gets on and he just basically says, just do what you're told, follow our orders, don't rise up, don't fight back. Basically, we're going to send you all back to work. You're basically my slaves to make credits. Like, that's, so I see everyone in the streets being rallied up and stuff. So that's his plan. He's just going to enslave the planet for himself. And so, then it goes back to Wim and Wendell, and they're racing, trying to get to the tower. They're getting shot at by Vane, and Wendell, he takes the bike and goes onto top of the water, which I didn't know that they could go over water. Like, whatever, I guess it makes sense.
Yeah.
But so he's like underneath the bridges and going, and I like how it's kind of, you might miss it, but when he's like turning to jump onto the water, he says to Wim, like, lean with your weight all the way over or something like that. Like, so like we know his dad was doing the same stuff that all these kids were
He
doing
was
when he was a
doing it
kid.
when he was younger.
So like he
for
knows
sure.
how to be rebellious. So like, he knew like you gotta, this turn's gonna be hard. You gotta like lean into it type of thing. And so they're going a straight shot towards the tower, and the pirates shoot the wall ramp type thing to get out of the water. So it looked like the speeder bike went through the hole into the wall. Like, I don't know. It kind of looked like the explosion opened up the wall and they went into the wall, and that's how they got in. But I don't know,
That's what it looked like. Yeah.
because Vane had the perspective that they destroyed him because they didn't see him like continue up on top of the wall and keep going. So like that was kind of like the dad was just hoping that it was gonna open up a hole in the wall type of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. It
Well,
was
and
like,
then I like that he was like, "Stop shooting! I'm in here."
right. Well, because then Jod calms Vane, stop shooting him in here. He's like, well, we got 2 people going on your position, but we think we got him or something like that. But right when that happens, Wim is in the tower. Like the elevator doors open up, and he's like, you lost, Jod. We called the X-Wings while he's holding his janky, like, walkie-talkie radio. And Jod's like, really? He called X-Wings. Where are they, basically? And he's like, you can't do it. There's no communication through the barrier. And William's like, not if you have the crystal of the founders. I'm like, what are you talking about, kid? And so he's going off on this whole thing that they discovered this a while ago, and it's all this stuff. And Jod's like, you gotta come up with a better story. And Fern's like tries to go along with it, and she's like, no, he's telling the truth. We found this a long, long time ago. Wim has been working with the Jedi this whole time, and they're was waiting to close in on you. We've been working on with the Jedi to hunt you down. Really, this is your plan. And so while they're having this conversation, Wim is like walking closer to the center so that Jod turns away from the elevator. And when he turns away from the elevator, the dad, Wendell, goes in to try to sneak around and turn the power on. And it's I think it was Fern said, oh, so the Jedi army is coming. And he's like, no, that's not true. The Jedi are all dead. And she's like, well, that's what you want. That's what they want you to think, type of thing. But we get at this moment was it this moment? I don't want to jump ahead in my notes. I don't even know. I don't even know if I wrote it down, but
Yeah, I can't remember if is this the moment when he tells them his story, or is it later?
oh, it's later. It's later. We'll get to that later. Because it's during the whole lever scene is when he starts talking about that. So, and so the power gets turned back on. Wim turns it on. He pushes button. Pushes another. I think it was another green button that he pushed, which is kind of funny because that's the green button is the one that Wim pushed in the cockpit of the first episode. So I think that was he pushed a green button in this episode. The Wendell turned the power on. So that's kind of cool. And so KB takes off and she flies away, and KB's parents were like, KB, is that you flying that ship? How are you doing it? And she's like, I got some help. And so she has SM-33's head, a couple wires that she hooked back together, and she has to like hold his head up so that he can.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
It's kind of funny. And so they're flying, and as they're flying away, like they're getting shot by the main flagship, and Neil's like, I got you covered, KB. And he's like in this thing, like shooting the ship. And he only got like a few shots off. I thought this whole thing was gonna be him
Popping off.
shooting the ship down. I thought like this was the whole thing was how they were gonna save the day. Like the X-Wings were never gonna come in time, and it was gonna be Neil shooting him down with his cannon. But it was enough to like distract him so that KB could get away, and so he did what he had to do. And so the ship turns to him, and he's like, "Oh crap!" And he jumps out as they blow up the cannon turbo laser thing. But KB gets out. She gets past the barrier, and she immediately calls Kim, and Kim's like, "Hey, what's going on?" Blah blah blah. And like KB's like, "We're in trouble. We're back at Atten, but pirates have taken over. We need your help. We need you to send a message to your friends, the X-Wings." She's like, "Oh yeah, I can do that." And so KB's like, "I'm sending you coordinates, but you're gonna have to find a way to get past the barrier." And then that's when they get shot again from other pirate ships that go back out into space, and she gets knocked back, and so that's not good. And so the ship starts falling back to the planet, and it's damaged so much that there's nothing much you can do. And KB's trying to fix it, everyone's watching it. Like the kids in the tower with Jod, and the parents, they're watching. People on the ground are watching. KB's parents are watching. KB's like, parents are like, "Can you fix it? You can fix anything, KB." And she's like, I'm working on it." And then you see it like come down, and then it kind of like goes behind some buildings, and you see nothing, and then you see a puff of like smoke. So it's like R.I.P. KB. She kicked the bucket. That's what Fern thinks. She's like, no. She's
She's
like
like
yelling.
crying too, and
And in this moment, you see Jod have a moment of sadness, or like he's like, I did not want this to happen. Like he's still a terrible human being. Like he's a bad guy. He's definitely not a good guy. But like in the moment, he's like, a
he
kid
did
just
not want
died.
this to happen, yeah, to
Because
them.
he's like, I didn't want anyone to die. I didn't want to destroy anything. And like you could tell he was sad a little bit. And so this is where was it Fern and Wim are kind of looking at each other, and Fern's like, that lever will take down the barrier. And so they're looking at each other, and Fern, she makes a run for it, doesn't get there. Jod shoots at her, and she like falls back or whatever. And so this was like an intense scene of like everything crap hitting the fan, and we really see Jod like using his force abilities to the highest degree that he's ever used them. It seems like, and so like Wendell goes after Jod, and that's when he force pushes Jod back. I'm like, okay, he's officially force sensitive, and Wim is like, he wants to, I'm trying to think. Now I got all these things happen so fast, like it was hard to take notes. But Wim gets to the lever and puts his hand on it, but then Jod has his lightsaber to Wendell, who's laying on the ground. And he's like, Wim, if you pull that lever, I'm going to kill your dad. And then this is where we get this backstory of Jod. And so seems like he was just a poor kid on his own, discovered by a Jedi that trained him for a little bit. He's like, I was trained a little bit by a Jedi, female Jedi. Don't know anything about, that's all we know, female Jedi. And it says that, but I saw her hunted down and killed. So it's like, okay.
He's trying to explain to them, like, don't open this barrier because there's a lot more bad guys out there than good guys, essentially.
Right. And so he's like, this is all I wanted was just to like, he's like, I didn't want anyone to get hurt or destroy it. I just wanted y'all to make credits. And so at this point, Wim already was talked down and like went back to his dad. So that's happening. So he's just there talking to them about all this stuff. Everyone could have just went back to work. Like I was going to give you guys job security. You just had to make credits, and we could have just kept going. But now everything crap is hit the fan. All this stuff, and as he's going on this monologue, you like see like Wendell's hand in frame right in front of his face and turns into a fist, and like Wim like looks like, oh, this is gonna be so cool. My dad is gonna beat up Jod. And so Jod has his back turned, and Wendell comes and just punches him in the face. And this is another where crap hits the fan again, and they're just a struggle. They're wrestling, fighting, whatever, and Wendell is like reaching for the lever, but Jod is holding him. And when
Kids
Wendell,
grabbed the lightsaber.
Wendell got punched, punched Jod threw his lightsaber. Fern's like, Wim, go get the lightsaber. So Wim runs, grabs that, trying to like, he's like looking at back and forth, like, which way do I turn this again? I don't want to screw it up like last time.
Stab my feet.
And so Jod, he's using the force to try and pull the lightsaber. He's dragging Wim along the ground while he's trying to pull back, and then Fern runs to help Wim to hold him as they're both getting pulled. And I thought the coolest part was how like Wendell was reaching for the lever, and Jod was force pulling his fingers back, and like it was like bending like past, like you could hear it like meat like stretching and like about to break. I was like, this is kind of cool, like that specific like honed force of the use to like
Yeah, it was pretty sweet.
not allow fingers to move was kind of cool. But they're like slowly getting closer to the lever, and so this whole thing, like we kind of mentioned it, but like Fern's mother was very much not wanting to intervene, just wanted to go along this. All she wanted to do is preserve the barrier so everything on the planet could stay the same. And so she was very conflicted with all this. And Fern is like, Mom, please, you got to help. Like, you got to do this type of thing. Like, help. And like, what's she going to do? What's she going to do? And then you see her hand go on top of Wendell's hand, and they pull the lever down. And so, that is when the shield gets turned off. The barrier gets turned off. And so I really liked how they I always said illustrate, but it's not like they animate or like the CGI of like how they visualized this thing turning off. Like it got really bright, like inside the thing. Like it was really cool seeing like Jod like seeing like in full light, like get the sense of loss. Like this is over now. Like now we're exposed to the whole galaxy. We can't do this hidden operation anymore. And it just kind of pans, like the whole thing is like section by section of the thing turns off. Everyone on the ground, they're watching everything go down. And I'm like, dang, this is intense. And Jod, he's sad. And so then it all turns off and you just see stars. So all these people on this planet have never seen stars before. And so Wham turns the lightsaber on and Jod throws his gun down. Like, really? Like,
part to me did not work.
Like
That's
that
the
was
only
kind
part
of
in the
like,
episode I'm like, you think that kid's gonna do something with that? Last time he held it, he almost killed himself. Like that was like the surrender moment. Like it didn't really work for me.
right?
But
Because like if Wim tried to attack with the lightsaber, like he could stop him. He could either shoot him because Wim's not going to block him.
Exactly.
But
I guess at the end of the day, though, he still didn't really want to kill the kids. So, and then it was all over anyway. So,
right, and so as
the chat's like he just decided, like he just gave up a moment.
Yeah, and so I think so. Then as the citizens are looking at the stars for the first time, they're just looking up, being amazed, and then you hear the ships come in. And the X-Wings, is a whole, like, I don't know, there's probably like 10 of them or something, come in, they fly in, and they also have 2 B-Wings. I didn't expect that either. Like,
that was cool.
That was cool. Like, oh, dang, we don't really see a lot of B-Wings. We see them in Rebels. We see them, like, a little bit in, like, the original trilogy, right?
Yeah.
So a couple, like, a little bit, but, like, this is, like, the first time seeing, like, live action B-Wings, which was cool.
Yeah, it was sweet.
Because I always think, like, it was the B-Wings were created on some random planet, and Hera in Rebels goes and like gets the design from this on this crazy planet that you can't escape type of thing, which is it's an interesting parallel. Like that ship couldn't. It was like the guy that was building the B-Wing prototype was something like in like a foggy like canyon thing or whatever that you couldn't escape or something, and so it's like that was a hidden thing that no one knew about, but now like that's being used to go into a planet that was hidden. I thought that was kind of
it's a cool tie. If you know, you know. If you don't, it doesn't matter. But if you know, you know.
So they come in, they just start attacking the ship, the flagship, and all the pirates on the little like raft thing, like, oh, we gotta retreat, we gotta get back to the ship, get back to the ship, and they're just taking out everything. And as this is happening, like the Wim, Fern, and the parents are like, "Oh crap, we gotta get to KB. We gotta find her, see if she's still good to go." And so they run, they jump on the elevator, and this is the moment that's kind of weird. Like Wim is like yells out, "Jod, like, are you coming with?" type of thing. I don't know if he said it like out of force of habit or like if he like you're still a person. Like we don't want you to die. You can come with us, but
Yeah, that part kind of confused me, but then it like shows that like, all right, he gave up, he didn't kill them, he didn't want the kids to die, so maybe there's like a nice version of person he can go to or something. Like, I don't know.
but
He still had somewhat of an attachment to him, even though 5 minutes earlier he was gonna kill him, like, or like he could have died.
right. But
I
he
don't know. It
stays
was
back.
weird. Yeah,
So, and he's just kind of watching his pirate ship get attacked, and so it was cool seeing the B wings in action with the laser beams. Just go, stripe it with
yeah, it was pretty
lasers,
sick. They just destroyed that ship so quickly.
and so it goes into the ship, and like Gunter is like, all the pirates are running, trying to escape the crash, and Gunter's like, "Get back to your post! Like, come on, guys, we gotta fight! Like, there's no way you can win!
Bro, you're literally
Like
in a
10,
giant axe and you're upside down. Like, it's
and
over, bro.
it's like, yeah, 10 X wings and 2 B wings like attacking you. Like, there's like, because Kim was like, these are the best pirate fighters in the galaxy, the New Republic. So it's like they're not gonna lose. Like,
No, they know what they're
so,
doing.
but yeah, so that pirate ship, it ends up crashing. It's like hits this into the city and then like crashes and tips into like the
A
river
river.
ravine
Yeah.
thing. I'm like, dang, this is gonna be a lot
Polluting
to.
all their water.
Yep. And so they get to the school, the kids and the parents get to the school. Yeah. I keep saying the parents, but like KB's parents didn't do anything this whole episode, which was kind of lame. Like,
That's because they're captured the whole time.
I know, but I thought they were gonna like have some gadgets on them that they were gonna use to like shock a couple pirates or something. I don't know. Like, it would have been cool if they were a little bit more involved. Now I understand like Neil's parents, they have 3 kids. Like, they gotta keep they gotta be parents and like keep their kids safe. So they
Yeah.
didn't need to do anything. But it would have been cool if like KB's parents like shock some pirates and then like Neil's elephant dad with a tusk like tackles a bunch of them
Stab
or
some
something.
people.
I don't know. I think it'd been kind of cool, but
No,
whatever.
the two parents that are gonna end up falling in love, they had to be the ones
No,
to do stuff.
no. I'll
They
be
held
mad if
hands
season
at the
two.
dude, they held hands at the end, bro. It's
Were they
happening.
holding hands?
Yeah, well, her hand went on top of his to destroy the barrier. Life's changing. It's all
Oh no,
different. They're
whatever.
gonna
You're
be.
reading it. No, that's stupid.
I'm telling you.
I'll
I'm
be
telling
really mad if
you.
season two comes out,
You're
first
about to be
episode,
mad, bro.
and like,
You guys comment down below if I'm right. Just comment and see if do you guys see the same thing. One boy, one girl. No dad, no mom. It's Star Wars.
this doesn't mean that's Star Wars. They've
I
never had
mean,
that in Star Wars ever.
it's
What do you mean?
okay,
It's
but
Disney.
it's Disney. Let's put them together.
I'll be really mad if that's season
Then
two
they're gonna be step
opener.
siblings. They're gonna be arguing all the time. They don't want to listen to each
No,
other. They're more than. But then at the end of the day, then the whole next season, something's gonna happen, and then they're gonna become siblings, and that's how that's gonna happen.
no. Like, okay, as much as I hate romance stories, like I'd rather have season two Wim and Fern fall in love than to have their parents fall in love.
Like Mike and isn't that kind of Stranger Things though too? Like,
No,
yeah, it is.
well, just because two friends or
Well,
two
actually,
people that
no,
they
no,
meet.
because Will doesn't end up with 11. Never mind.
Yeah,
But
they're dating.
Will
Not
is
Will
not dating out.
or what yeah, Will Byers. Which one? I get the names all screwed up.
No, Mike is dating 11.
Yeah, but that was from the start. Like they.
Yes. No, no. I was saying, like, is it similar to like 11 and Will's mom? You know, like Hopper and
Oh, live with another.
stop Will.
Me what?
But
No, we're not.
it's not that.
You're not the only Will.
There's more Wills in the world. Trust me. There's a lot.
But anyway, whatever. I don't even know where we were, but
You're just. It's okay.
they get to the school, and they enter the school, and Neil was right there. Hey guys, what's going on? Blah blah blah. I'm okay. And they're like, "There's the ship. Like we gotta check on KB." And so the ship is like crashed into the dome of the school and is like hanging from the ceiling type of thing. And it's starting to shift. The door open, cargo door thing opened, ramp opens, and all the credits that are in there's like fall out. And then KB slides down the ramp like all limp like a rag doll. I thought that was a little.
Well, I thought maybe her battery went out, and they're gonna have to like start doing mods on her right away.
Well, I didn't necessarily think that, but like
That's
I
what
thought
I
the whole
thought.
ragdoll thing was a little weird, goofy.
I just thought I think it was supposed to represent like she could have been injured or maybe her system broke.
Well, right, but it just looked weird seeing a ragdoll kid go down a ramp with a bunch
I
of
think it would have
gold
been cool if they would have
credits.
got to her and she wasn't responding, and they're gonna have to like mod her with gold pieces, like they melt the gold and put that in her head.
No, have the parents show up. Find her parents show up and have
And
like
they're
a
like,
oh we
but
got
then
this, and then they just like and it's kind of like get it all fixed
how
up.
cool would it have been though if they ended up putting gold pieces in her head, and then it doesn't ever defect anymore because it's made out of the gold.
It doesn't deteriorate. Doesn't
Yeah,
I don't know.
that would have been cool. That would have been a cool moment.
Instead of having like things like chromed out, like it's like gold plated
Gold out,
stuff next
yeah,
season. Like,
dude.
but she's kind of she's just laying there on top of the credits, and the kids and parents go and grab her, and she moves around a little bit, and then she wakes up, and she's like, "Did we win?
Did we win?"
And they're like, "Yeah, we won. We got it." They're all just like celebrating, and then like, "How did you survive it? How did you whatever?" And then SM33 is holding his head in his
Walking out like a headless
like a
horseman kind of
basketball.
thing.
He's
Yeah.
like, "Well, that was one of my better landings, right?" Like, what? That's one of your better landings? Oh, dang! I hate to see your other landings. Like, who crashed it better, SM33 or Anakin Skywalker?
Well, you got to also think too, like
He had a
he
whole
probably
ship, not a
crashed the
half a
first
ship.
one and it went inside the.
Is that what it
hole.
was?
Yeah, maybe.
He crashed the first. And then it crash landed, and that got
Yeah.
buried under all those centuries of. That's kind of funny to think of it that way.
Yeah,
That's probably
maybe.
what happened.
Maybe he's like, this is my better landing because last time it was in a ditch for years.
Yep. And then so the kids are all celebrating, and the parents are like, "Guys, get out from underneath the ship. You don't want to save the day and get crushed by a ship at the end." Like, I thought that was kind of
Typical
funny.
parents.
But it's so funny, like a funny
Yeah.
line. Like you've saved like that's happened like in we're playing video games or something, like we fight like a boss or something, and then like right
You
away, like
accidentally fall to your death or something.
yeah, like some stupid
Yeah.
bull crap, like you gotta do it all over again. Like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
it's the worst.
You forgot about the mine that you put to kill the guy you stepped on
Yeah.
accident after you killed him and then you die. Yeah.
You gotta do that quick save right there after you.
Yeah, right away.
Um,
They need to make that droid a toy and you can take his head off or not.
that'd be cool.
That'd be sweet.
Or just make it a separate one where it's like a Funko Pop, but like it's on the side of that body. That'd be kind of cool.
That'd be sweet. It's like a
Did they
bunch of like cords coming out of his head.
do they have Funko Pops yet for Skeleton Crew?
No, they haven't really come out with any figure. They're like now dropping toys for Acolyte. Like they're finally hitting shelves.
I didn't even.
Their toy drops are so behind. Like they're
Is that
always so
normally like
behind.
that all the time, or
Yeah, it's kind of been like that forever. So
interesting? Um, but then I think Fern was talking to Wim, and was like, "Hey, because the barrier's down, like it looks like you don't have to take assessment. Like you can go anywhere in the galaxy now, type of thing." And so he turns and looks through the hole in the
and
ceiling.
the school is completely destroyed too.
But like it's also like I guess you're right, a two-way thing. Like the school is destroyed, so you can't take assessment, but also the galaxy is open now for everyone, so you don't have to stay on this planet and take the assessment. So he looks through the hole in the ceiling and sees the X-wing. So it's like he wants to be an X-wing pilot. That's what he wants. And so I thought it would be kind of cool if like go watch episode 9 and see if the Onyx Cinder is flying around in there. That'd be kind of cool.
That'd
And
be sweet.
like, that'd be cool if like you see their kids are running that ship as adults and they're in the Battle of Exegol, like fighting the Sith fleet.
They
Be kind
might
of
be in
cool.
the Ahsoka movie if that ever happens, or that not Ahsoka movie. Sorry, the Ray movie if that ever happens.
Great movie. They would be kind of pretty old, so they would be 25, be 40 years later, so they'd be 50-ish years old,
Yeah,
mid
just
50,
hire older actors.
maybe. But it'd be kind of weird throwing them randomly in it. But they could be like, I don't know if we probably won't see them in any other Mandoverse ever again because they're just so young.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But he sees the pilots, X-wing pilots flying through. But then the power gets turned on. But like you also see a Tantive 4 Corvette, whatever you want to call it, come to land. So the New Republic has arrived. It's like a diplomatic. I was thinking like C-3PO was going to walk off, but we didn't see anything, which is fine. So this ties it to the New Republic. It's like we saw in Tales of the Empire, the Morgan Elsbeth arc, like the one diplomatic ship going to Corvus, like, hey, join the New Republic type of thing. So like you'd think that this planet would get grandfathered in, like you guys are, you got a lot of money. We could
You can
expedite
do
that
it.
paperwork a little bit
Yeah.
faster. um and that's basically it. It goes through. Did you watch the credits?
Yeah, it went through his comic book, and it's like
And then but then it like was on his data pad. Like it zoomed out and it was his data pad.
yeah,
And it
it
said
was
Skeleton Crew on it. Like, because it,
yeah, it
it
was pretty
ended
cool.
with like scenes from their adventure.
Hmm.
So that must mean that
They're in the history books.
they're like it's part of like the legendary stories now that like kids are gonna be reading throughout the galaxy, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
I was hoping there was gonna be like a post credit scene of like
Yeah,
something, but we didn't
yeah,
get it.
no,
But I just should mention like I think when Jod was watching everything go down from the tower by himself. Like he did look out there and he had like a smirk on his face. So like he has an idea, he has a plan of something. So I
something
think
he's cooking up something.
so I think that's clearly a tie-in to season 2, which they said they have already planned for. They just need the green light.
Yeah,
And they think if they can get started right away, the story would be however many extra years it takes them to actually make the show would be the appropriate age
of
progression
the
for
kids.
the kids in the show and the actors. So if we get it in 2 or 3 years, the kids would be 14, 15 years old in real life. The characters would be 14, 15 in the show. And so it's like they wouldn't be full on adults flying the Onyx Cinder around the galaxy doing things, but it's just interesting. What would the story be? Any predictions, Drew? Season
No,
2.
my only prediction is that those two parents fall in love
Oh, gross.
and they become step siblings. But that way they're not in a relationship like that. It's just their parents are.
Yep.
They both got a parent that they were lacking, a mom and a dad.
Yep.
It worked out. It would work out.
I'm thinking that aged up Neo will have some 2 little tusks. This
Little
kinda,
nubs.
Little nubs.
That'd be cool. Maybe we'll go. Maybe they end up going back to his girlfriend's planet.
Hina, yeah. I just think they should. I want to see the other planets. Like I
think
just want to.
I think that's gonna be the story arc potentially. Is like them going to the other planets to like.
Because Jod's like, well, I can't get all these credits on this planet, but I can go to this other
Maybe
planet.
there's
and get
other
these
ones that I can
resources.
still get. Maybe they still have money that we don't know about or something.
Because like it was, because like when we learned Atten was a mint, like he said, it's the last of the old Republic mints, implying that there were. So like I don't know if that was implying that all 9 planets were mints and this was the last one, but we might not ever know. But I hope we get a continuation.
But it doesn't mean that potentially there might be another one that they didn't realize or something, you know. Like there's ways they could just I don't know, figure it out.
I don't know.
Either way, I feel like we're gonna go see those planets, or maybe we'll get some flashback scenes on how those planets became about. Get some High Republic characters that we know about in them.
That'd be cool. Some
That'd
High
be sweet.
Republic. Because like the great work, like that's a phraseology used from the High Republic phases 1 and 3 era.
Mhm.
And speaking of High Republic phase 2, we're doing the next book, adult novel for phase 2 next week with Grace. So Catalyst. So get hyped for that.
Yeah.
If you want more High Republic stuff and book review stuff, we're excited for that one. I gotta start reading it more. I'm only like halfway through, which is only like under 7 hours on 1.3 speed, so it's not that bad. But
Yeah,
you got a long flight, and so you're gonna be
not
reading
really,
that.
but yeah,
What do you mean not really?
8 hours,
That's a long flight. How is it not? What is a long flight?
14.
Whatever.
That's a long flight.
So you're gonna finish the book on the plane?
Yeah.
You better.
8 hours there, 8 hours back.
You better finish it.
I
could picture you.
I only
I don't
have
know,
like 6 hours left actually on it, so roughly. So it should be fine. It should be fine as long as I don't get distracted by the TV and
that's why Steph's gonna want to watch a movie on the plane, and okay, we'll watch this, and then we gotta watch the second movie, the sequel. And okay.
No, she's more excited to read her own books. So we're gonna both be those Kindle nerds on the airplane reading our Kindles.
I could never read on a tablet.
I thought the same, dude. It's nice.
I can't do it because I have to like visualize things on a page and like oh, it's on the bottom of this page.
But what's cool is you could take notes, and then at the end of it, was on my Kindle, I have like the Fire. You can take notes, and then at the end of it, it shows you all your notes so that you could go through. And when you're bringing down the book, you have all your highlighted notes.
I like my good old fashioned pen and notebook.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm just saying.
Make notebooks great again.
Make paper great again.
Yeah. Cut down those trees, dude.
Yeah.
But that is Skeleton Crew Season 1.
I highly recommend it if you guys are somehow just listening to our breakdowns. And
everything got spoiled for you. But go get your friends and family to watch it. Like, definitely get those numbers up, views up, so they renew a second season like right away. Like, that's something I'm hoping that they announce it at Sour Celebration that they're going to do season 2. That'd be cool.
People like it. I just think it needs more. Like the people that are watching like it, they just need more people watching it.
Yeah, so I'm excited for the future of the show. And it was just such a step up and breath of fresh air after the Acolyte being so terrible. Like, Star Wars can make good content still. They just need to be smart about it. And so,
Yeah.
but Andor is coming up in a few months, and so
We're
they
gonna
know
have
that's
a
going to be
lot of good
great.
content.
That's going to be good, and so there's a lot of good stuff this year. I feel like we're going to get. So I'm hyped for Star Wars. I'm hopeful. I haven't given up yet.
Me either. Or we wouldn't be here if we did.
Right. But that's it. But we should probably do a coffee break quick. So we forgot to do a coffee break. So
That's fair.
if you are done watching this show and you don't know what to do between now and when Andor comes out, why not buy some coffee or tea from our sponsor, Wesley Andrews Coffee and Tea out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. They got a lot of options. So take a little listen to a little commercial from our sponsor.
Hey everyone, Andrew here. I'm pleased to tell you that the sponsor of today's episode is Wesley Andrews Coffee and Tea. If you don't know anything about Wesley Andrews, you definitely should. They're an award-winning coffee roaster and shop in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and they make fantastic coffee. The awesome thing is that whether you live in the Twin Cities or not, you can get their coffee beans delivered straight to your door by ordering them online. They even have a subscription service that ensures you never run out of amazing coffee. If you've been looking for some new coffee to try or a way to elevate your normal coffee routine, now's your chance. Head over to wesleyandrews.cc, use the code EMPIRERADIO, that's with a capital E and a capital R with no space at checkout, to get 15% off your first purchase of any bags of coffee or a coffee subscription. I can't think of a better deal. Get 15% off some great coffee, support a small business, and support your favorite Star Wars podcast. In the words of Emperor Palpatine, do it.
Do it.
Do it.
All right. Well, that's everything for the episode breakdown, but we also have everyone's favorite time of every episode, voicemail time. So let's take a transition over.
It's voicemail time.
All right. Well, we have 4 voicemails tonight. Hopefully we didn't. I don't know if anyone came in since we started recording because it's early, but we have 3 different people. The first 2 from someone we haven't heard from in a very long time, an OG, or not really an OG, but a goat. Everyone's favorite low-voiced, octave voice friend of ours, Elias. He's back,
Ooh.
alive and kicking. 2 voicemails. So let's take a listen to number 1.
Hello. Haven't sent one of these in forever, but I'm getting back to it. I'm gonna try and send more of these in. And, yeah, so the question I got is, well, I started high school. That's a thing now. And, yeah, it kind of sucks, but, my question was, any advice you got for a new kid going into high school? I know it's kind of like halfway through the school year, but I'll take any advice you got. So, see ya.
All right. Thank you, Elias. Good to hear from you. And you're in high school. Dang, it just feels like a couple years ago when we met you at Empire Con, you were just a young kid, but now you're in high school. Advice. Well, one,
Don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs. It's been, dang, as I think about it, 20 years ago, I was a freshman in high school also right now.
Dang.
2004, 2005 was my freshman year. So that's pretty crazy to think about. 20 years ago, I was a freshman in high school. Yeah, Drew said don't do drugs. I would say just be yourself. I know that's super cliche, but like, don't be fake. Like, don't try and fit in to be a cool kid, or unless you are the cool kid. But like, don't try and be someone you're not. Just, I don't know. For me in high school, I was friends with like every group of people. Like it doesn't matter what category, what clique or whatever you were part of. Like I was friends with everyone. So just be a friend to anyone who wants to be your friend. Like reach out to people. You know, don't try and confine yourself to just being in a clique, but just be friends with everyone that you can be.
You know, do your work and don't stress out too much about it though.
Yeah, do your homework. Don't goof off. I know you are a big video gamer, but work before play.
But also don't stress too much about it.
Yep. Don't be like Wim and your assessment. I gotta take my assessment. It's gonna determine the rest of my life. Like,
Yeah, it
you got the
doesn't.
whole. I'm 35 and I still don't know what to do with my life. So, 20 years later, from your point, I still don't know what I'm doing with my life. So,
We're probably not the best people to ask.
yeah, but
yeah, you got this. Don't worry about it.
But you're 15, so 15. I'm assuming I don't know when his birthday is. So he's 14, turning 15 this school year. So he's probably gonna maybe be doing driver's ed or something. So that's exciting. You can also get a job when you're 16. I don't know what child labor laws are down in your state, but like get a job when you can. I would say just make a few bucks. Don't waste it. Just save it up.
Or have fun with it and
Or
get what you want.
Start putting money in retirement now. Like that can add up a lot faster. Me, I'm never gonna have enough money to retire because I started late. So start putting money into a 401k or a Roth IRA or something, and have a lot more money than I'll ever have just by putting in a few bucks a year doing that at a young age. I heard that if you have a kid and you start a Roth IRA for that kid right when they're born and put $7,000, it will be over $1 million when they go to retire 65 years later.
I messed up already. Miles is
It's like,
3.
well, that's fine. Start putting money. Open up a Roth IRA for him now, and start putting like $1,000 a year or something into that now. Like that will make so much money.
Yeah.
For him. But I don't know. That's not what you're asking me about, Elias.
No.
So
No. Just do your thing and chill and have fun and don't be fake and don't do drugs or stay away from the
girl. Stay away from girls.
Yeah.
You don't need a girlfriend.
You have college to worry about that. You don't need to do it now.
But if you don't want to go to college, that's fine. You can just
Also,
go straight
it
into
honestly,
workforce.
The chat's like, don't worry about it. It's not what you know, it's who you know, and that's true.
Garrett says the chat. Yeah, compound interest is OP. Yep. All right. Thank you, Elias, for number 1, but he has number 2. So let's take a listen to that.
All right, I got another question. What kind of music did you listen to while you were in high school? I feel like Drew's going to have a good answer, but Jeremiah's going to say something obscure that no one knows about. But, yeah, there's my question. Usually I listen to Weezer because I'm cultured, and I wish I could have grown up in the 2000s, but alas, I'm not. So I just listen to Weezer and wish I was. But anyway, so yeah.
All right. Thank you. Music from 20 years ago, Drew. What were you listening to? Because you would have been in middle school when I was a freshman in high school. So what were you listening to back then?
Probably the same stuff I'm listening to now. Well, not really, but
like who were the big ones that you were listening to back then? Like that were like,
well, I didn't like listening to mainstream music back then because I thought I was too cool for it. So I listened to like bands that like I either played with, like open for or played with, or like smaller local bands. So like all my music, like stuff like none of those bands exist anymore at all.
Do you listen to Just Go Forward?
No, but I listen to your brother's band.
Yeah, that's Just Go Forward.
Well, I listened to the other one. What
was his other? He had like 20 of them.
Yeah, I forget what it was called.
I remember. I don't. Just Go Forward was I think his last one.
Yeah, I don't think
that was like his best one with like Brian.
Oh, really? That was I don't think I listened to that
What's the
one.
last name? Brian
Well,
and his
you
brother.
don't need to say it on that. I know who you're talking about.
Oh, it starts with a D. I know what it is.
Yeah, you don't need to tell the
um,
world this person's
who
like
cares?
that.
This is names, whatever.
Yeah, I didn't really listen to like mainstream music. It was always like my friends' bands who I still talk to, and like bands that like the mainstream ones for me are like A Day to Remember, Under Oath, Devil Wears Prada, like heavy metal screamo bands that like that's what I listen
That's a
to.
good question for Andrew. What was he listening to 20
I
years
think he was
ago?
honestly listening to a lot of well, besides the local stuff, he was listening to a lot of the same stuff I was listening to.
For me, that was when I was really into movie soundtrack stuff, and that was when I was like wanting to become a music composer, film composer. Until I took one session of a music theory class and like, this is stupid. I'm not doing music ever again, type of thing. So I was really into this. I think it was just like movie soundtracks is what I was listening to back then. So the guy that does the music for Skeleton Crew, Mick Giacchino, is a son of Michael Giacchino, who did the Rogue One soundtrack. I was a fan of Michael Giacchino for his early stuff when he was doing video game soundtracks, and so I was listening to like video game soundtracks by Michael Giacchino for like Medal of Honor, Secret Weapons Over Normandy. He did some of the early Call of Duty stuff. He did Lost, so I was like listening to that stuff on CD in middle school and early high school. So go check out Michael Giacchino's old stuff, Medal of Honor and stuff like that. It was all really good.
That's really cool that his kid's doing it now. And the soundtrack fit really well on
It was
this
pretty
show.
good. Yeah, it
I
was
liked it
pretty
a lot.
good. It wasn't like, there's been shows like Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett, like those themes like are so prominent, but
they're so different too, though.
I don't
They're
know,
their
but like
own film.
Acolyte, I couldn't tell you any music from Acolyte. I couldn't like hum any music from this show, so it's like hard to like
What
have
about
music
Andor though? You know Andor.
Yeah, I like it. Andor's really good.
Who
But
did
so
Acolyte?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't think it was that.
We need that lady that did the Loki series to do a Star Wars show, dude.
That would be dope.
Dude, the Loki soundtrack is nuts. Like, I really like what Natalie Holt, I think is her name, what she did with that one. But yeah.
Yeah,
If
if you want your mom to be mad at us, go listen to Under Oath. The old stuff, not the new stuff. Not the new stuff.
We love Elias's mom. We don't want her to be mad at us.
He's at that age that he needs a.
I don't know. I feel like Star Wars Celebration 2026, if that's the United States, Elias and his mom will go to that and we'll meet him again. So
yeah, that's fair. Okay, yeah, don't do that.
Tell your mom we say hi. She's probably listening because they listen to the car ride to school, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Jessica, what's up?
Hello. Yeah, don't listen. Sorry.
Yeah, she listens, remember?
My bad. I forgot.
Oops. All right. Thank you, Elias. It's great to hear from you. Hope to hear from you in the future pretty soon here. So, all right. Next up, we got the coup d'etat verse with Garrett. So let's take a listen. And we had our prediction of what was going on, but I think he might have put a little wrench in our theories. So let's take a listen to what's going on.
Shouldn't have said it out loud.
Hey, Empire Radio. It's Garrett. We found the spy on the Colossus, but he's just a kid. And apparently he took my spot as the fastest racer on the planet. I gotta give him props, though. The kid's got skills. He put up a bit of a fight before I was able to capture him. Not bad for someone without a lightsaber. To be honest, though, it seemed like he was just kind of bumbling around, getting lucky. His movement while running away was so erratic I couldn't predict what he would do next. Not sure if he was a genius or just clumsy. Oh, and my starfighter was still there. Good thing, too, because when we left the Colossus, a squad of X-Wings tried to intercept. Obviously, they were no match for my N1. Once we got back to the ship, Empress Palpatine said she was pleased with my performance and she would now show me the best way to get information. I also have a question for you guys. What do you think is the worst job in the Star Wars galaxy? I think a caretaker for Jabba's pets would be pretty bad, considering you probably had to pick up after them.
All right. Thank you, Garrett. So we thought that the leader of the Resistance was Jedi Ben Solo, but he says it's like a kid. Now, if it's out in the Colossus, is he trying to infer that it's Kaz Mizuno from the Resistance show. That was a pilot also. I don't know. I feel like he was more like college age rather than a kid. So I don't know who's this. Unless it's Broom Kid. Is Broom Kid alive and kicking?
Oh,
And
if this boy does,
I'm hoping it's Broom Kid and he's
Garrett,
leading the Resistance.
if you do
as a
this
kid.
to me, I'm gonna be really upset, bro. We might have some issues here, bro. But
it's cool that you have your N1 Starfighter still there and you're alive and kicking with that. And we're excited to see what Empress Palpatine has planned for you moving forward. But I don't know. Anything could happen because this kid is unnamed. We have very little details, so it could be anyone, or maybe it's a long lost child of Garrett's that you didn't know, and it's like years later. I don't know. We'll never know.
getting into some murky waters there.
But then it's like father versus son, like in the final battle. Like what's gonna happen? And he's like, "Dad, you gotta turn away from the dark side. Come back to the light." Like,
I am your father, and the kid's gonna be like,
no,
"Nope, wrong button. Nope, wrong button.
wrong button."
Not true. That's impossible.
I don't know.
We'll see.
It would be funny if it was like reversed. Is like rather than saying "No, I am your father," he's like, "No, I am your son." All right, but his question.
Yeah, it's the opposite. The kid's like, I'm your son. He's like, no, that's not true. That's impossible. The opposite.
But his question was, what's the worst job in the Star Wars galaxy? Well, there's a lot of slavery going on in the galaxy, so that'd be
Those
kinda
aren't jobs,
terrible.
though. That's forced labor. That's
It's still
different.
work.
It's not a
work,
job. It's
whatever.
not like they're getting paid.
Okay, so a consensual.
Yeah, something
working-
you had to do. Trash
Working-
compactor
work-
worker.
Working in the mines in slave-like
Oh.
conditions.
Or
I don't know.
honestly, being Jabba's like one of his workers.
He probably doesn't bathe himself, so you have to like
That's
bathe.
what I'm saying.
It's like
You're gonna be Jabba's like personal assistant, bather person. Yeah, good luck. Let's talk about like slime.
I feel like there's a lot of like dangerous jobs like in the galaxy. Like, you have to like you gotta go through this nebula to like get to this resource or something, and it's like super dangerous.
Or like working outside on ships all the time. A fuel person, like filling up ships, and you have to like manually go and hook it up. Like that's risky.
That'd be easy. That'd
It's
be
risky.
easy. I don't know.
Dude, the fuel people at like the airport, I don't think you could pay me enough money to do that job, dude.
You know that's what Andy did for like 20 years, right?
Really?
Yeah, he filled the jets for like a long time. Like until like maybe
It smells so bad. They walk by you, you can smell them as they're
I
walking
feel like-
next to you. Like it's
I
so
feel like
bad.
he stopped doing that in like 2014, 2015, and I think
Oh,
he did
wow.
that for like 15 years maybe. I think it was like
Jeez.
right out of like high school he was doing that. So I don't know, he might be listening to this. Andy, send in a voicemail and
Yeah,
tell us
let
about
me know like how bad your
what-
headaches was all the time, or like
I remember
feel like-
smelling him when you would come home
I
from
feel
work.
like you would like have a migraine all the time. Like they walk by you, like by like you're in the break room or something, and they walk by me, and I can literally smell them. Like, I'm like, oh my lord! Like I would just hate that. You get like the other day, someone was hooking it up, and like they messed up, and it just went all over them, and all over like the airplane, and then so the plane had to be like grounded for a little bit until they could clean up the mess. I'm like, bro, I would hate that job. And it was like freezing out. Like it's literally what? It was like 7 degrees that day when it happened. I'm like, yeah, no thanks, dude. I'm like driving by. I'm like, I would hate that. I don't even care. I know they get paid decent, but I don't think I could do it. I don't know. Can't be good for you. It can't be healthy for you to breathe that stuff in all the time. Maybe, but maybe that's how Andy got so tall.
No, he was always tall.
Dang it.
He's not some weird, crazy, like
It's like in that
growth
case, I'll
thing.
do it.
That's not a thing at all.
If that was a thing, I would do it.
grow your hair back so you don't have to wear hats every episode.
It just it puts energy, like fuels your body. You just start getting taller. My hair's like giant locks.
Fabio.
Yeah.
Can't believe. But didn't he do like I can't believe it's not butter like commercials or something like that? We get sponsored by I can't believe it's not butter.
That'd be dope. But yeah.
All right.
Anyways.
Thank you, Garrett. We're excited to see where the story, because I feel like because you're doing full circle with like the Colossus and stuff, like is the story coming to an end? Like the coup d'etat first, is it actually going to get a conclusion?
It
Or
never is going to end.
Or is it going to be a perpetual story for the rest of the history of Empire Radio? Who knows? But yes, we got one voicemail left from Alex, and it is a little quiet. It's carrying on. We miss out a little bit of dog, but you can, if you're paying attention, you listen. I'll fix it in post so we can be a little bit louder. But it still has a good question that we can get through. So let's take a listen.
What is up, Empire Radio? Alex here. Or my username on Discord is AlexanderBlitz96. I have a question. Who do you put win in a chess match between Darth Sidious and Grand Admiral Thrawn? Let me know. Thank you. May the Force be with you.
All right, thank you, Alex. I think you mentioned that he just joined a Discord, which I saw him the other day in the Discord, and his question is, who would win in a chess match?
Thrawn or
Darth Sidious, Palpatine. I feel like Thrawn would win.
Really?
Because I think he's better at, like, in the moment, assessing the threat, seeing what's going on in the moment,
That's
and adjusting.
True. Palpatine's a very long
He's
game.
more of a long game.
And so he would, like,
guy.
overthink, and, like, he wouldn't be, like, a few steps ahead. He would be, like, way too far ahead to the point where he wouldn't be able to do it, because then Thrawn could adjust quicker. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
But I also feel like Palpatine would probably cheat somehow. But then Thrawn would probably catch it. Yeah, maybe Thrawn would win. I
feel like the only chance is if like they did like 2 out of 3, Thrawn would lose the first one, but he'd adjust and make, because he learned from from Palpatine's style from the first game, he'd win the next 2. So, but if it was just one game, they've never like seen each other play before.
Mm-hmm.
Palpatine might have the edge, but I think overall Thrawn would be the better chess player.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Oh, that's everything. Thank you, Alex, Garrett, and Elias. The streak continues. Coming up on almost 4 years straight of voicemails. So end of February is when we had our first one in 2021. Can you believe that?
I can't believe that was 4 years ago.
That's 4 years ago. But next month we're celebrating our 5-year anniversary, our 300th episode, landing on the same exact day, coincidentally. And so we're kind of hoping an Andor trailer doesn't screw up our schedule,
or it drops that day, so that we can just break it down
and then cancel. Yeah, I still got to talk to you and Andrew about what we're going to do for that. I was
going to say, I don't even know what we're doing.
I have an idea. It's kind of lame. I don't know. It'll be fun. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, but if you want to get connected with us, if you want to even send in a voicemail because you've never sent one in before, go in the description below, the links.co/Empire Radio, links spelled 2 Y's. Click that landing page for everything, and there is a link for the voicemail thing. So go check that out. Really simple. You just push record, type in your name, and that's it. You don't got to sign up or anything. It's really, really easy. We love to hear from you, especially if you've never sent in a voicemail or if you have like an accent. We love those accents from all those people all around the world. So that's just a lot of fun. But also connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch for live streams. Join the Discord. People have been having a lot of fun talking about Skeleton Crew, but now that we're kind of done, it might be a little quiet. So if we get some new people in there and add some more life, keep that going on until we get Andor in a few months, and all the announcements from Star Wars Celebration will be excited to talk about. So go join that. Fan email if you want emails about anything, and then needlesslynerdy.com, which is part of an entertainment network that we're a part of. But also, I forgot to mention this to Drew, but next month, on February 7th is the unofficial Star Wars podcast day that Daniel Contreras puts on every year. He gets all kinds of Star Wars podcasts to join in and kind of celebrate like the first ever Star Wars podcast that was released in like 1999 or something like that. So get excited for that. We're going to participate in that. So
Sweet.
it'll be a way to connect with other podcasts too. So if you want more podcast stuff, go follow us. We'll have postings, go follow that hashtag and stuff, all that jazz. And so go check that out. We'll be promoting it every week until that week. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
Anything else, Drew?
No, that's it for me.
All right. Well, we'll see everybody next week with Grace doing a book review of Catalyst from the High Republic. So I'm excited for that. So if you haven't picked up that book, quick,
Do it.
Amazon Prime that, get it in 2 days or next day delivery,
Or
binge that book.
ebook it. Or
just
maybe
ebook
try
it.
to borrow it from your library.
Or an audiobook too. Go listen to that. Mark Thompson does it, so he's the GOAT. So get that done. Well, you've been listening to another finale-tastic episode of Empire Radio. I'm Jeremiah.
I'm Drew.
And may the Force be with you.
Always.